Well, good afternoon, everyone, from Lebanon Valley College, where we had a special introduction this afternoon of the Lebanon Iron Masters, the identity that the Barnstormers will be taking on for the weekend of July 1 to 3, when we have invited everyone from Lebanon County to join us at the ballpark, trying to be a good neighbor. Today, the Barnstormers are entertaining the traveling Black Sox team in an exhibition game here at Lebanon Valley College. We'll set the stage for you in just a moment as Dominic DeSabatino gets ready to face off against V. Desai leading off the ball game. There is a fly ball lifted out to left field. That is going to drop in on a windy afternoon in front of Kelly Dugan. And this is rather Carson McCurdy leading off, and he on the wind-blown double will scoot back into second base. And now V. Desai, the shortstop, will be stepping in for the Black Sox. The Black Sox with McCurdy leading off at first base. Desai is the shortstop batting second. Brendan Dadson is an extra hitter batting third. The left fielder in the cleanup spot is Anthony Brocato. Canis Ejo is the center fielder batting fifth. Ryan Roll will be the DH hitting sixth. The catcher batting seventh is Colin Miner. Juan Familia in right field batting eighth. The third baseman hitting ninth is Mark Demko, and Jesus Salcedo will bat 10th and play second base. Left-handed hitting Desai stands in. DeSabatino comes to the set, and his fastball is up and away for a ball. It is 1-0. Runner at second base on, well, one of those incidents that will happen earlier in the year with the high sky, the wind blowing, and an outfield that's not the one that you're necessarily going to see all the time for this Lancaster Barnstormers team. Lancaster with Ladarius Clark in center, that's set, but the left fielder today is Kelly Dugan. They hadn't really worked very much side by side, a little miscommunication. McCurdy leading from second base to Sabatino, working out of the stretch, and his pitch is a little bit up again. So to Sabatino, behind in the count. This is Dom's second appearance of the spring. He's fallen behind 3-0 with the runner at second base, first base open. Brendan Dadson is the hitter on deck, and he'll also step in from the left side of the plate once he gets there. DeSabatino sets. The pitch is a little bit up once again for ball four, and Dom finds himself in a little bit of a fix with runners at first and second here, nobody out, and Dadson coming to the plate. The Black Sox, of course, have come through Clipper Magazine Stadium during the spring training time for a number of different years, and they can always put up a challenge. Probably the best-known ex-member of the Black Sox as far as the Atlantic League is concerned is a guy who was in the MVP running last year, Tillman Pugh. Once came through Clipper Magazine Stadium with this club. Ball is outside and low, 1-0, the count on Dadson with the runners at first and second and nobody out. Anthony Brocato is the on-deck batter, and he would step in from the right side of the plate. So runners at first and second. It's a ball and no strikes with nobody out. DeSabatino rests at the waist. Here's the next pitch, and that one catches the outside corner. After a string of 5 straight out of the zone, it is now 1 ball and 1 strike on Dadson. I'm glad you could join us on our special broadcast, our special live stream from Lebanon Valley College this afternoon. FanFest, of course, coming up tomorrow, and the Barnstormers will play York on Monday. We will not have those games for you. Swung on and missed against a fastball, and it's 1-2. And then the season opener coming up from Gastonia, North Carolina. You can join us at 6:10 on Thursday evening, the 21st. That's 6 days from now. First of a 4-game series, first of a 7-game road trip. DeSabatino looking to pick up his first out. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's slapped foul to the left. The count will run. 330 down the lines here at Lebanon Valley, 365 in the power alleys, and 400 to straightaway center field. An absolutely lovely setting just off the main portion of the campus, tree-lined in many directions here, and an uphill cemetery beyond the center field wall. 1-2 once again. The count on Dadson. DeSabatino's pitch chopped toward third. Over for it goes the third baseman Lair. They'll get an out at second. They force out, handled by Melvin Mercedes. Dadson safe at first on the fielder's choice. 5-4 on the conversion. McCurdy advances to third. That will bring on the left fielder Anthony Brocato. Runners are at first and third with one away. Here's the set by DeSabatino, and he spins a breaking ball to the inside corner, getting ahead of Brocato with the right-handed batter stepping in. Defense is straight away. The Barnstormers with Lair at third, Hoover at short, Mercedes at second, and Colton Shaver at first in the infield today. Swung on, that ball is torn into deep down the left field line, hooking, and that is a foul ball. It skipped off the top of the outfield wall just outside the pole. Well, the Barnstormers and DeSabatino survive a bit of a scare on a ball yanked just a hair too far down the left field line by Brocato. And with that, DeSabatino has a good size advantage in the count at no balls and 2 strikes. McCurdy, the runner at third, Dadson aboard at first base. The outfield with Clark in center, framed by Dugan in left, as we had mentioned, and Mark Zagunis is the right fielder, Anthony Peroni doing the catching today. They had a strike 3 called on the outside corner. Brocato goes down looking, and with runners at first and third and 2 outs, we have Kenise Ejo stepping in, right-handed batter as well. The Barnstormers 1-0-1 on the spring campaign so far. The MVP to this point for the Barnstormers through the first 2 games would be Melvin Mercedes. He's 5 out of 8. And the Cy Young winner would be Augie Silk, who was simply superb yesterday in a spring training game over at York. Pitch a little bit inside. It is ball 1, 1 ball, no strikes, with runners at the corners and 2 outs here in the top half of the first inning. DeSabatino ready to go, and he's a little bit up with that, not getting any leeway at all toward the top portion of the zone this afternoon. 2 balls and nothing. Chance to get out of the inning after he faced a first and second nobody out situation. DeSabatino, right-hander out of the state of Delaware. Second year with the Barnstormers. Delivers a strike on this pitch, and now 2-1. On deck, should the inning roll along, is Ryan Roll. Pardon the pun. That one was inadvertent, but I'm just getting started for the year. He is the designated hitter. DeSabatino working out of the set, and he is wide. 3 balls and 1 strike. Sabatino steps back and forces the runner at first base, Dadson, to retreat. Out here in brilliant sunshine. What a beautiful spring afternoon it is. Fouled away. Ejo, and we do not have a working scoreboard here this afternoon, but I believe that makes it 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll know for a reasonable certainty as we see Dadson taking off on the pitch. Shaver will drop back, so it is 3-2 on Kenise Ejo. DeSabatino working out of the set. Here is the pitch, and that's slapped on the right side, knocked down by Shaver, retrieving it as Mercedes. No play anywhere. Ejo drives in a run with an infield base hit, and the Barnstormers fall in arrears today, 1-0. And that will bring on Ryan Roll, the designated hitter. It's a spectacular afternoon, and on that, we wish all our friends in the Jewish community, a happy beginning to your Passover at sundown, and all of our friends of the Christian faith, a blessed Easter holiday weekend, starting with Good Friday today. First and second. 2 men down, roll, the designated hitter steps in, and he will look at a ball on a breaking pitch. It is 1-0. 1-0 in favor of the Black Sox, who have on occasion over the years beaten the Barnstormers in one of these spring training games. For about the first 5 innings, baseball rules will be followed, and after that, if you've followed spring training games over the years, and this is typically why I do not like to carry them, but if you followed the games over the years, you know that the last 4 innings get rather chaotic. Almost anything can happen, free substitutions. Sometimes the opposing team does not wear jerseys, which was the case in York yesterday. Popped up foul off the bat of Roll. Roell is the last name. He is batting with Dadson at second, Ejo at first. Shaver almost came up with a brilliant backhanded stop in the hole, but the ball deflected off his glove, and Melvin Mercedes unable to retrace his steps in time to have a play, and then he juggled for a split second. Beautiful slider back to the inside corner, and DeSabatino gains the edge in the count. Barnstormers pitching through the first 2 games of this spring schedule, and this is in 8 innings against Southern Maryland, and a 6-5 win on Wednesday, and then 8 more innings yesterday at York, combining to strike out 24 batters. Runners take off. The pitch is popped up. On the right side of the diamond, Mercedes and Shaver get together. Mercedes with the call and the catch, and that will end the first inning. But for the Black Sox, a run on 2 hits with no errors and a couple of runners left on base. We've come to the end of 1/2 inning today here at Lebanon Valley College. With the score, the Lancaster Barnstormers trailing the Black Sox 1-0. Welcome back from Lebanon Valley College. Dave Collins with you. And as we said, today, which may seem a little bit helter-skelter, and I apologize, I know our signal is cutting in and out. We don't have strong internet connection up here, but we wanted to celebrate this partnership with Lebanon County, and really at the hub of all this is JBT Company, and here representing them is Troy Peters. Troy, tell us a little bit about how this partnership got started with Lebanon County, the Barnstormers, and you guys at the hub of it.
Yeah, sure. Well, we've had a partnership with the Lancaster Barnstormers for years. Having client events at the games and doing some other supporting things. And when they talked about having Lebanon County, recognizing Lebanon County and inviting them down in July, we thought it was a natural fit because we're headquartered in Lebanon County, but also have locations throughout Lancaster.
Drove past one around Manheim on my way up here, in fact.
Yep, that's right.
Ball one high and outside to Melvin Mercedes, who's had some kind of spring so far. 5 hits, including a pair of doubles yesterday against York, a home run against Southern Maryland on Wednesday. Right-hander on the hill is Zach LeBlanc for the Black Sox. He's wide of the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. 1-0 the score in favor of the Black Sox on an RBI single with 2 outs by Kenise Ejo in the top half of the inning. Swing, and that ball is yanked far down the right field line, up through the trees. And clearly a foul ball, so it's 2-1. And Troy, these last few years, the banking industry obviously affected just like everybody else has been. How have you guys made sort of the adjustments to these last 2 years and coming out of it?
Yeah, well, it certainly has accelerated change in many ways in our industry, including the acceptance of electronic banking. So we have a lot of activity on our mobile apps and things, and we took the opportunity to implement some new technology solutions and just adapting to current client preferences, which, again, have moved along rapidly.
Here's a 3-1. Mercedes goes down the left field line. That will curl foul. Still in play, but unreachable for the left fielder, Brocado. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That count heads there. Trace Lair, the third baseman, is on deck. He's done some exciting things so far this spring. And then Colton Shaver, the first baseman, to follow. The strongest part of this ball club may very well be its infield defense. With Mercedes at second, Hoover at short, you know what they can do. Trace Lair is new to the ball club, but boy, he's got some kind of glove as well. Here comes the 3-2. Mercedes chops this on the right side, easily handled by Jesus Salsado. He'll deal to first. Mercedes is retired. We have 1 down, and Trace Lair will step in. He is the third baseman. He's played in the Oakland and Texas organizations before joining the Barnstormers here in 2022. Now, unlike the guy he's more or less replacing on this ball club, Blake Alleman, he's not a switch hitter. He's a pure left-handed batter. And back on Wednesday, early in the game, he found Clipper Magazine Stadium very much to his liking. He reached the porch, heard some metal hit, the ball up in the railings, but he found it. First pitch strike from LeBlanc. It is 0-1. So we have Troy Peters in with us from JBT Company. And just a glorious afternoon here. We love making the trip up here. It's a spectacular field. Fly ball, left center field, hit pretty well. Chasing over on it is the left fielder, Brocado, and he makes a very nice running catch in the gap to take possible extra bases away from Lair. 2 gone, and Colton Shaver, the first baseman, will step in. And you may notice that Colton is rather broad across the shoulders. He's a pretty big fella, not so much tall, but he is a big guy and has the power to go with it. He's already deposited 1 on the hill at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Yesterday had a single and a double in the game at York, but he's going to be fun to watch. He'll strike out his share of times, but he's going to pop a few out. That's for sure. Swing and a miss against LeBlanc. It is 0-1. Easy drive between Lancaster and Lebanon. Troy, how often do you get down to the Lancaster area, or is your home there and you come up here?
Well, I grew up in Lidditz, so that was home, but I lived in Lebanon County for the past 20 years, in Annville, as a matter of fact. So this was a real easy commute for me today.
This is a wonderful little community. It's the
Yeah.
first time I've been up here, but
Oh yeah.
this is a beautiful town.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Interestingly, I played college baseball, and our first fall game was here at Lebanon Valley, but the field was not here. We were on the other side of the road, and it was pretty Spartan. And I thought, boy, if this is what college baseball is about, I want to go back to high school, at Warwick.
Yeah, this is
But
such a beautiful site for a Division III team. I went to a Division III school, and our field was nowhere near this scenic, and to boot, didn't have seats. You had to sit on the hill. Swung on and missed. That's it for Shaver and the Barnstormers here in the bottom half of the first inning. Nothing shaking for Lancaster, and at the end of an inning, it is 1-0 in favor of the Black Sox.
I mean, I think they only had 1,600 students. I'm not necessarily known for baseball, but they made an investment here.
Welcome back from Lebanon Valley College. Dave Collins with you, and sitting in with me is Troy Peters of JBT. And Troy, we talked about a little bit of coming through these past couple of years, but you look into the future. Where is the banking industry going here in the next year or two? And besides electronics, are there new products you're developing along that line that will interest folks?
Well, it's certainly going to be exciting with the economy and the rate environment. For us, in terms of some things that are unique, I mean, beyond the traditional banking services for consumer households and small businesses, we also have a couple of niche markets, including commercial lending, but cannabis banking. We're the only bank in Pennsylvania that actively banks medical marijuana, hemp, and so that's a that's a pretty interesting business for us, and we're also big in the auto lending world through dealerships.
Swing and a miss by Colin Miner, 0-1. Of course, that is a business that you can only see booming into the future as well. So there's a foul ball back, no balls and 2 strikes. The count to Miner. You see, with the certainly the prospect of interest rates going up as a banking business, how do you adjust to that? You certainly would anticipate probably more people saving with you, but might be a little more difficult to get people to take out the loans.
Right. Yeah. Mortgage volume certainly has curtailed recently as rates have gone up. Savers, of course, have been waiting for a while for rates to increase, but there's a lot of money in the bank. Coming out of this pandemic and all the stimulus that was created has put a lot of liquidity on banks' balance sheets.
Here's Juan Familia, the right fielder, with 1 out, nobody on. A 3-pitch strikeout for DeSabatino against catcher Colin Miner to start the inning. Ball 1 is outside. It is 1-0. The wind seems to be intensifying here in Annville. We're on the campus of Lebanon Valley College. Pitch is lifted down the left field line, giving chase is Dugan. He won't get there. It will land in fair territory. Sprinting towards second is Familia, and there will be no throw to the bag. Familia in with the second double of the afternoon for the Black Sox. We have 1 out with a runner at second, and that brings on the third baseman, Mark Demko, this afternoon. Well, that was one of the things that you always heard on the news, certainly at the height of the pandemic, is this swell of savings. That there was more money in the bank than at any time in history, and now I think we're beginning to see some of the after effects of that.
Yeah, definitely. At the same time, some consumer debt like student loans and car loans are increasing at record rates as well.
One out, runner at second base. DeSabatino working out of the set. And a pitch, foul ball back into the screen, and Demko bats at 0-1. Tom's had a little trouble with the left-handed batters this afternoon. He's pretty much gotten smoothly through the right-handed hitters, although the RBI single back in the first by Ejo came from the right side. Runner at second base with one gone. Defense, especially Clark in center, cheating a little bit toward the right side. The infield is straight up. The offering is upstairs on Demko. 1-0 in favor of the Black Sox, playing the top half of the second inning. It was a double that got lost in the communication, the wind, or the sun, or some combination thereof that really opened the way to that run in the first inning. And as we said, those things happen. Swung on and missed. As I recall, it's the first time the Barnstormers have played a game with the high sky that we have here today. We had quite a bit of cloudiness, certainly in York yesterday, but even at home against Southern Maryland on Wednesday. But it is bright here today. Ground ball right side. Shaver will have some trouble picking it up. His throw to first is in time. DeSabatino hustling over. He had to reach and was kind of in harm's way, but he was able to reach out with that long arm from the 6'4" lanky frame, handle the throw, and make the grab, get the big second out with Familia moving ahead to third, and Carson McCurdy, the first baseman who hit that fly ball to left center field back in the first inning that gave the Barnstormers, and I guess specifically Kelly Dugan, some trouble out there. But it is a spectacular day. This was a day where the weather forecast sort of teetered on getting ugly at one point about a week ago. There's a strike on the outside corner, check swing by McCurdy to boot. And it is 0-1. And then as we got closer to today, the weather picture just got brighter and brighter and brighter, as is the case for our trip to Gastonia next weekend. Haven't checked yet about opening day. I'm a little nervous, but I think it's supposed to be all right for the opener at Clipper Magazine Stadium on the 29th against the arch enemy from the other side of the river, the York Revolution. First of 32 against them. Two outs with the runner Familia over at third base. Fly ball double down the left field line. There's a second strike from DeSabatino, who's on the edge of pitching his way out of the trouble here in the second inning. Did you order this weather, Troy?
Absolutely. You never know what you're going to get mid-April in central PA, but this is about as good as it gets.
And it is up and in. This is not McCurdy, by the way. This is the second baseman, Salcedo. He is the number 10 batter in the lineup today. As I said, spring training rules. And there is a reason that I generally do not broadcast these spring training games. The scorecards eventually look ridiculous. Pitch gets away from Peroni, but Familia opts not to try it. Two balls and two strikes here. Perfect baseball weather today. It's like an afternoon just sitting out in the bleachers at Wrigley Field. It's that kind of day. And I have actually done that, by the way, and a little fall baseball, September. I don't think I was in the bleachers. There's a swing and a miss, strike three, but I was down the left field line, certainly. No runs, one hit. No errors of demand left. We're through 1.5 here this afternoon. It is still 1-0. And Troy Peters from JBT, thank you for stopping by, and good luck with the business. Maybe an interesting few months ahead in the banking industry is in everywhere, and good luck. Good luck, and we'll see you. I trust at Clipper Magazine Stadium, July 1 to 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
If not at other points, so make sure you stop on by.
Will do. Good Barnstormers.
Thank you, Troy. Troy Peters from JBT joining us here for the last inning or so. We're through 1.5, and it's 1-0 Black Sox. Welcome back from Lebanon Valley College as we celebrate an upcoming weekend at Clipper Magazine Stadium when the Lancaster Barnstormers will take on an alter ego as the Lebanon Iron Masters. And join me as one of the key role players in that transition for us, the president and CEO of the Lebanon County Chamber of Commerce, Karen Groh. And Karen, beautiful day at the stadium and beautiful day to be thinking about baseball in the summertime.
Absolutely. We ordered this up special for this game, and I'm glad that the order came in.
Here is Kelly Dugan, the left fielder today, leading off for the Barnstormers. Chopper foul and knocked down by Troy Steffi in the first base coach's box. It is 0-1. Right now, the Barnstormers are playing with just 9 position players. They've got numbers 10 and 11, I trust, are in town getting their physicals and being ready to go for FanFest tomorrow. That would be Anderson Felice, all the way back from the 2015 season, and Andretti Cordero, who's a corner infielder. Always takes a little bit longer to get those visas arranged, but we'll have those two and perhaps a third gentleman by the name of Oscar De La Cruz, a pitcher, in by the time the season starts. And that's always good news because it doesn't always happen that way. 2 strikes to Dugan. Here's LeBlanc. He pitches and off speed, swing and a miss. Dugan is gone. LeBlanc's retired 4 straight. And now Mark Zagunas, the right fielder, will step to the plate. Everybody's excited, and I am too, about the weekend at Clipper Magazine Stadium. And this is our second trip up here as a Barnstormer staff. We looked at the facility here about 2.5 weeks ago. And, well, basically, that was a day you needed your parka.
Yeah.
And today is absolutely spectacular.
This is an amazing day, and I'm so glad to see so many families out in the seats and watching the game. It's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to bring Lebanon County out and show them some great ball.
And Clipper Magazine Stadium's just down the pike. It's not a tough drive. It really is, and I enjoy the drive. It's quite scenic. Of course, it's farmland for a good part of it, and it's that time of year. The smells weren't necessarily always the best, but the scenery was marvelous.
I smelled some of that today. But this is a beautiful field here. Lebanon Valley College is an amazing campus, and they have just done a great job welcoming us here today.
I love this field. Swing and a miss. I've told everybody this. They count as a ball and 2 strikes on Zagunas. I've told everybody this that I've seen here today. I worked for a Division III school. I was the sports information director at one point, and our baseball field was not even close to this in quality, the scenery, the sight lines. We didn't have seats. We had a hillside from the auxiliary
Grab
gym
your blanket
that
and make
sloped
yourself
down to the
comfortable,
field.
right?
We had dorms were the backdrop in right center field. The road that was the main road of the campus went by left field. Then there were some trees in the Genesee River, but it just wasn't as pretty as this. This field is gorgeous. I love it.
Is. Well, all the brickwork around here and that beautiful walking bridge over 934, they've really done it right.
Mark Zagunis, the batter, he had a double the other day against Southern Maryland. Chops a foul into the net and remains alive here. Karen Grow, our guest. Karen, Lebanon County is there are so many neat little towns up here. I love this town of Anvil.
This is I mean, it's a college town, but it's just an amazing town as well. Just to walk around the little downtown shops and coffee shops and bakeries and all. It's just really a lot of fun stuff.
Bouncing ball is foul past third. Do you have a business of your own?
No, I am full time at the Chamber of Commerce. I did have a business, which is how I became involved with the Chamber of Commerce. So I was a member for 20 years. Really loved how I used it to grow my business, and eventually took over as president and CEO. Absolutely love working with our business community and helping to make Lebanon County a great place to do business.
Once again to Zagunis, and that is cut on and missed. 3 strikeouts in a row, and 5 in a row set down for LeBlanc. That brings on center fielder Ladarius Clark, who's got about as many tools as you'll ever see somebody have in the Atlantic League. He's got a major league arm, he's got major league power, major league speed. Maybe about a 15 to 20% reduction in the strikeouts, and he could be where all these guys want to go. 2 outs, nobody on base. 1-0 in favor of the Black Sox to Clark. Chopper towards shortstop. Charging in is Desai. He'll peg across the diamond, and it's 6 in a row set down by the Black Sox starter. Another quick half inning, so we'll invite Karen to stick around. We're through 1.5, or through 2 rather, and it's still 1-0 in favor of the Black Sox. Welcome back from Lebanon Valley College. Joining me is the president and CEO of the Lebanon County Chamber of Commerce, Karen Grow. If you were to maybe list 3 things that make Lebanon County tick, what would you say they are?
Oh, we have a proud history. I think that we really revel in the history of the places around the county, the individuals that have shaped it. The college itself is a great university to have in our county. Uh, we are well known for certain food groups. Our Lebanon Bologna is internationally famous. And opera fudge, if you've never tried that, it is an amazing confection. We also are the home of Shuey's Pretzels. There's just a lot of really great food choices in Lebanon County as well.
Yep. Pretzels make the Collins family tick, so that's definitely worth a try. My wife is of German extraction, and pretzels are definitely a thing in the Collins household. I was going to say the name Iron Masters itself. carries a historic connotation here as well.
It does, and the reason that people gave that they chose that particular name was because of the Cornwall Iron Furnace or the Cornwall Iron Mines, which if you've never seen the pit, what they use to pull the iron out of, it is massive. It's all flooded now, flooded in when Agnes came through in '72. But it is just an amazing sight to see when you think about at the bottom of that pit are still the machines that they were using to get the iron out.
That is remarkable. Everybody in this area, of course, remembers Agnes. Pretty much everybody in the Northeast does. Swing and miss by Carson McCurdy. He had the double and scored the run back in the first inning. Tall, lanky, left-handed batter. Agnes did a lot of destruction in a lot of different places. And my neighborhood that I lived in Rochester, New York, we were somewhat on tenterhooks at that time because there was a dam in just south, well, a little more than just south of the city of Rochester, and they thought that might give way. And if that had given way, my neighborhood probably would have been well flooded by the Genesee. Fly ball, left center field, Clark and Dugan, and this time it will be Clark securing it. McCurdy going into the same direction as the last one, but either adjustments were made or the wind wasn't blowing quite as sharply at this moment as it had been back then, and it turns into a routine out, one away, and here is V. Desai, and that's how he's listed on the roster. And I went down, I asked him what the first name was, and he said, just call me V. So it's V.
You can just call me Kay, although that's a woman's name anyway.
D-E-S-A-I.
Wait, how is it spelled?
D-E-S-A-I.
Oh,
Desai.
D.
Desai. V. No, his first name's V, and the last name is Desai. The pitch is popped up, spinning foul over the third base seats here. No balls and one strike the count. Don't want to get too terribly in depth into the backgrounds of the 2022 Lancaster Barnstormers. We'll save that for Gastonia for next Thursday night. We definitely wanted to celebrate this partnership with Lebanon County today. We had Troy Peters from JBT in here, Karen Grove from the Chamber, and everybody's excited about this, and rightfully so. I think it's a wonderful thing. We're all enjoying the day up here. And
again, you couldn't ask for a better day. And, you know, frankly, we have so many businesses and organizations that straddle both Lancaster and Lebanon County. It's a natural fit for the counties to tie together, especially for such a family fun event like this.
I was just thinking on the drive up here today, I was thinking this is like finally getting to meet the neighbor that's like 3 doors down, you've never talked to, and you find out they're really fascinating
really good
folks.
People here, right?
Line drive to left field and a base hit for Desai. That is the fourth hit off to Sabatino, who's working into his third inning. I was told he would go 1-3 here today. Ben Wanger is scheduled to pitch next for the Barnstormers, and Wanger got the save against Southern Maryland Wednesday afternoon at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The closing role not necessarily in his future. Of course, Scott Schumann is back, and he would be earmarked for that, but you always love to give people, especially in spring training, opportunities to fill different roles to see what they can do as players come and go. Left-handed batting, Brendan Dadson stands in. Infield double play depth. DeSabatino misses up with that. The Dom has allowed 4 hits so far. One a single, an RBI single off the glove of Colton Schaefer, and everything else has been knocked on the left side by left-handed batters. Foul ball back into the screen. Anthony Brocato, the left fielder, is on deck. He's actually made the best defensive play of the game so far. Black Sox will take on the Barnstormers again tomorrow, 1 o'clock at Clipper Magazine Stadium for Fan Fest, and we invite everyone to come out there. Admission is free, and we'll have the ballpark operating fully for the first time this year for a baseball game anyway. Called strike. The count on Dadson now, I believe, is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last night we had an exciting event at Clipper Magazine Stadium, a no-hitter thrown by a right-hander from Donegal. If I caught the name correctly, Jaden Fabian. I apologize if I got that a little bit off. Inside and low now on Dadson at 3-2. I walked in to the stadium. I had just gotten back. For those of you who remember my longtime color guy, Tom Arnold, I had dinner with him. I just walked back into the stadium, walked into the press box to watch the final out of that no-hitter and the green-clad kids celebrating on the field. It was truly a marvelous event. I didn't know at the time it was a no-hitter, a perfect game. I was told later it was a no-hitter, that he had given up a couple of walks. 3-2, the continuing count. Desai, the runner at first with one out. Dadson is the hitter. The Barnstormers haven't gotten off the mat. They've been 6 up and 6 down so far today. The offense really didn't kick it into gear until later in the game yesterday. Jake Hoover with a big 2-run single. Swung on, foul tipped, and held by Peroni. Dadson is gone on strikes. That is number 3 for DeSabatino. And now he'll encounter Brocato, who is strikeout victim number 1. Do you find Lebanon County, is it growing? Are there areas that are growing?
Yeah, Lebanon County is the second fastest growing county in Pennsylvania in population. So not only have we had a lot of population growth, but we've had really great business growth, great community growth, and sense of pride.
It's always exciting when you see things expanding, when you see new businesses coming into an area. It's one thing, the town, I live in Virginia, the town in which I live has seen a lot of business leave. And there are a lot of empty storefronts. And they were relatively new shopping centers. Businesses opened, and some of it was the pandemic, some of it was pre-pandemic, and now everything's just starting to crank up again, and we're getting those businesses replaced with some fun new stuff. I've got practically out my front door a bowling alley, arcade, and mini golf establishment coming in. I'm all psyched about that. So when you get things like that, when you get the pardon?
What city do you live in Virginia?
Warrenton.
Okay.
Down US 29.
I lived in Reston for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too far away. Outside, it gets away from Peroni, and that will enable Desai to move up the second base. Well, since we don't have an official scorer today, I usually rely on the likes of Bill Hoffman or Joel Schreiner to make these decisions for me. I think I'm going to go pass ball on that one. That's going to be my choice on that. Runner at second base with 2 outs for Brocato. What is the main source of recreation here?
Oh, there's a lot of really great rail trails. We've got a phenomenal rail trail throughout the county. So walking, biking, there's kayaking, just a lot of outdoor recreation possibilities.
Swing and a miss by Brocato. Looking to take DeSabatino into left field and at least pick up a second run for the Black Sox. We're in the top of the third, 1-0. You have to look at the lower half to distinguish between the teams because both clubs are wearing black jerseys. Lined out towards center field, streaking in is Clark. He dives forward, can't hang on, and here comes Desai sprinting around with the second Black Sox run on an RBI single by Anthony Brocato. Clark, full tilt coming in, gave it everything he had, which you don't often see in spring training games, but Ladarius Clark diving forward, and the ball just squirted free from his grasp. And with 2 outs, of course, Desai was coming the entire way. Now a 2-0 score. But you go back, you see the Black Sox are in black. The Barnstormers' position players are in black. So you got to distinguish between the teams by the white pants versus the gray pants. It's the easiest way to do it. Obviously, the jerseys are designed a bit differently, but you've got black against black, which if we were in an Atlantic League regular season game would be a violation. It would be a huge violation. Somebody would be getting cha-chinged by the league office for this one. But it's spring training, and just watching some baseball. That's all we care about. Wins and losses don't really mean anything. Swing and a miss by Ejo. It is 0-1, but it's certainly good to be out at a baseball game. There's some of that winter weather we had even a couple of weeks ago, as Karen and I were discussing. A lot of the Barnstormers front office came up here and met with officials from the college and the community, and it was just bitter. Swing and a miss.
Day.
There's a throw down by Peroni. It will be late, and in with the stolen base is Brocato. He moves to scoring position. Couple of strikes now on Kenise Ejo. 1-2 is the count. Ejo at the RBI single back in the first inning off the glove of the first baseman Colton Shaver. It has been just one of those games, and you'll have them, and you like getting them out of the way early, where your defense is just a day late and a dollar short on every play. Instead of making the diving catches, the balls are squirting loose.
That's the second time you used that word.
You got grape seed. The pitch is wide of home plate, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You talked about that day that we met up here, and frankly, working with the Barnstormers team and working with the college has been amazing. You guys have all been just incredible partners in this whole process. We're really grateful.
It's been a tremendous venture. Barnstormers baseball, I've been part of it since the beginning. And it's always neat to see new ventures. Line to right center field. That is down. Zagunis will play it on a hop. And here comes Brocato around with a third Black Sox run. Kenise Ejo again going to the right side. A little more on it this time. And he's got his second RBI single of the afternoon. DeSabatino now has been reached for 6 hits. And when we talk about the peculiarities of Atlantic League spring training games, guess what? The inning's over before the third out. It's Atlantic League spring training baseball. And as I say, this is why typically I don't broadcast these games. But today was such a special day, I thought that I would. And having some fun here regardless. Karen, thanks for stopping by. Good luck to all the ventures here in Lebanon County with the continued growth. And we certainly look forward to seeing everybody down on that July 1st to 3rd weekend.
We do too. We just are so grateful and for this amazing partnership between the Barnstormers and the Lebanon Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're looking forward to getting Lebanon County down to Clipper Stadium.
It's an exciting venture. It's not all that far in the future. It's amazing how time flies. It will be the Iron Masters against the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. The 4th of July weekend at Clipper Magazine Stadium.
Iron Masters.
Did I say Lancaster?
No, you didn't say.
The Lebanon Iron Masters against the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. Coming up at Clipper Magazine Stadium, July 1 to 3rd. It's 3-0 through 2.5 innings. Back in a moment.
Pleasure sitting next to you and having this opportunity. Thank you.
Anthony Peroni leads off the bottom of the 3rd for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Soon to be, for one weekend, the Lebanon Iron Masters. Ball 1 is outside. It's one of the things that it's become fairly popular around the baseball industry is alternate names for team, but usually they don't change the name of the community that they're representing, but we're doing that. It may not be unique, but it's different. It doesn't happen all that often. 2 balls, no strikes to Anthony Peroni. Just trying to be right neighborly. And I think it's a great idea. 2-0. Peroni with a bouncing ball past Ross Peoples, who's in his 5th season, 6th year as the Barnstormers manager. He had what looked to be the makings of a pretty good team assembled for 2020 before things got shut down. Two balls, one strike to Peroni. It's 3-0 in favor of the Black Sox. Smash, diving stop made by the shortstop, Desai, but he can't get the throw lined up, and Peroni is aboard on an infield base hit. But what a dazzling play up the middle by Desai. Great stop, but the second half of that play to be an overall great play and an out is you've got to scramble to your feet and be able to get the throw to where the first baseman can reach it and stay on the bag. And that throw pulled McCurdy well up the line toward right field. Peroni's aboard. He's having a good spring. He reached base all 4 trips against the York Revolution yesterday at Peoples Bank Park. Here's Jake Hoover, the shortstop, who had some clutch hits for the Barnstormers last year. He doesn't wield a whole lot of power, but boy, does he wield a glove. Bouncing ball toward third, and that is foul off Hoover's bat. No balls and 1 strike. The Michigander, Jake Hoover, batting with a runner at first, nobody out. He tied yesterday's game at York with a 2-run single to right field with 2 outs in the 6th inning. The Barnstormers, up until then, had been 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position yesterday. And again, one of those things that during a regular season game would be a little irritating, chafing under the collar, just like today with the defense not quite being able to make a play on anything, everything just off a glove somewhere. It's a spring training game. You just want to put in the effort, put in the work, get the reps, and have some fun with it all. To Hoover, a swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Devon Torrance, the designated hitter, is in the on-deck circle. It's been a week with some controversy, certainly, in baseball, but at least now it's on-field stuff. Clayton Kershaw being pulled after 7 innings by Dave Roberts with a perfect game. In progress the other night, he had thrown 80 pitches and a lot of comments back and forth on that. Right-hander to the set, and a Hoover, it is down low. The catcher, Minor, springing up in case Peroni were on the move. He was not. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And then the more verbal altercation than physical one between the San Diego Padres and the San Francisco Giants the other night. The Giants shouldn't have a say in anything because those uniforms are so ugly. It should immediately, but that's just my opinion. Those white uniforms with the odd-looking G emblazoned on the left breast and orange helmets. Definitely different, and I personally wasn't a fan. But anyway, there was a verbal altercation, and it all came about with, I guess, a bunt for a base hit. And it's interesting that Devon Torrance is on deck because we'll draw him into this. But there's a bunt for a base hit with the Giants leading by 8 or 9 runs in that game, and San Diego didn't take too well to it. Fly ball center field, and Ejo will be there to retire Hoover 1 out. And that is something that 50 years ago in baseball, if you did that to Bob Gibson or Don Drysdale, you would have worn a fastball in the ear flap. Nowadays, especially with the change of the rules in the major leagues, where it is to your benefit, a tiebreaker is runs scored overall, the run differential. You're invited to run it up, and the times have definitely changed. Devon Torrance knows all about that issue, and We, in fact, had a conversation about that with Devon the last couple days. There's a floater one hop, and that will get away from Desai. That is a really tough play for a shortstop because if you don't get to it on the fly, Peroni's probably moving ahead to second. It's too awkward of a throw there, and there's no way you're getting Torrance at first base. So we'll call that an infield base hit just because I have the power and authority to do so right now. Runners are at first and second, one away. Mercedes will step in. The Barnstormers trailing by 3. But anyway, we were at Sugarland back in 2019. Our last ever trip there was the Saturday night game, and the Barnstormers were winning substantially, which didn't happen very often against Sugarland that year. And the Barnstormers, of course, were having a tough year. But Torrance was having a great night, and he had already had 3 hits. The Barnstormers were winning big, and in the 6th inning, Devon, who hadn't played a lot of baseball at the professional level, dragged a perfect bunt down the first base line, beat it out for his 4th hit of the game. Well, the Skeeters, and in particular Pete Incaviglia, who was known to be a little bit testy at times, took umbrage to it. They drilled, and there's a line drive into center field, a base hit for Mercedes. We'll continue our story in a moment. Peroni will hold at third, and that is his 6th hit over these 3 games. Trace Lair will step in with the bases loaded, 1 out. He flied to left his first visit into the batter's box. So the next time Devon came up, he got drilled by a fastball. Devon rather nonchalantly, was, if you know Devon, this is kind of his way. It was like, whatever, dude, and he jogged on down to first base. But some of his teammates, in particular, as I recall, Casey Hobson, did not take too kindly for it. There was a lot of chirping. And the next thing we know, the dugout's emptied, the bench is cleared, the bullpens came sprinting in from the hinterlands, and we had probably, well, the nastiest incident involving the Barnstormers since 2008. Here's a pitch to Lair, swinging a foul straight back. It is 0-1. And there had already been some hard feelings created over the first few games of that series. And some events that occurred between the two clubs the year before. Might be talking about a particular game that got started and didn't finish. Breaking ball for a strike. And Lair finds himself trailing 0-2. Bases are loaded. Peroni at third, Torrance at second, Mercedes at first. And suffice it to say, when Sugarland and Lancaster last squared off, the two teams were not getting along terribly well. Never forget the coach for Sugarland, whose name escapes me right now, actually climbing on to the backstop at Constellation Field. Lair with a swing and a miss. And the inning is up to Colton Shaver, playing first base today. He's done some of the catching for the Barnstormers. He was in the Houston Astros organization. Speaking of Sugarland, it's amazing how these things all weave together, and I didn't even plan it that way. But Colton Shaver was a Sugarland Skeeter last year. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on, ripped into left field. A base hit. It will get Peroni home. Torrance is going to steam toward the plate. The throw is cut off, and Mercedes is held up in a rundown, and he does a do-si-do, but it's not a good enough move. He's tagged out over at third base. Shaver singles in 2. The Barnstormers get back into the contest here with a 2-run inning. The tag on Mercedes, the final out of this bottom half of the third. We'll be back with another guest in the top half of the 4th inning in just a moment. We are through 3 full innings here at Lebanon Valley College this afternoon. The Black Sox with